Soaking So's Real Thoughts, and I'm here with Kristen from Sales on Film, and we are back with a new segment of Love It or Hate It. And instead of loving or hating this one, it's a unanimous vote that we both loved this movie, the last film of Albert Maysles called Iris.
Yep. This is a documentary that just came out pretty recently, so you might still be able to catch it in theaters or on VOD, and I think it's definitely worth a look. It's a documentary on Iris Apfel, who is sort of very famous within the fashion world, but if you don't know anything about fashion like me, you might not have heard of her, but she is sort of a style icon, I guess. And she is very old now, in her 90s.
I think she's 93. And
yeah. So she and she has been sort of like influencing New York style and like Vogue and all of those kind of magazines, like since the 60s or 70s. And she I guess started out as a interior designer, so she was very influential in the interior design world, and through that accumulated a lot of wealth and a lot of context with people who were very stylish, and her own personal style sort of became a hallmark outside of her own business acumen. So the people that she was hanging out with was just sort of like, Iris, you have such a unique style, and they sort of adopted her as someone that could really, influence, designer fashion and stuff. And
I mean, as a person that watches fashion films and follow fashion, I think I just first discovered her when through Advanced Style, the documentary, and she's just always around the scene, so it's really hard to not be attracted and see her, because she has such a strong presence, especially because she has such a strong look to her, and that's very distinct and very significantly just Iris.
Yeah, a unique, inimitable sort of look. She has large, thick black frame glasses, a lot of accessories. I guess her main claim to fame is her
combining
accessories.
The high ends of fashion and just the low,
I guess
items.
Well, one of the parts of this movie is highlights the fact that she had an exhibit, I guess, at MoMA.
Yeah.
And it was just her personal wardrobe that they put on mannequins, and
she has such a unique vision of how to do it, because I think in the documentary it really shows that a person could style this, but the way she styles,
right, it's the way that she puts together accessories that you wouldn't necessarily go together. And it is, I mean, the costume jewelry that she has, I think it comes across, or it could come across, as quite garish and kitschy, but she does really have a unique eye, which I think probably comes from her training and career as an interior designer, to put together pieces that you think would be disparate or would not look good together. And also her adventures that she went on, picking out fabrics all across the world, really influenced her pieces. So she'll put together maybe a traditional costume from West Africa with some Levi's jeans.
I mean, I don't think that anybody could pull off her fashion like she does, and it really shows kind of the backstory to her life, as well as her marriage, and down to how busy she is and just how influential she is in the fashion world. And I liked it that she this. I don't think Albert Maysles knew that it was his last film, but I liked their interaction together and how it was really intimate, and they were truly just friends hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, this whole documentary, which is quite short, it comes across sort of just a day in the life.
Yeah.
And it's just Albert Maysles, who shot along with his brother probably most famously Grey Gardens, also the Rolling Stones documentary Give Me Shelter, and has had a career since the 60s. His style of documentary, which is sort of to be unintrusive, but to also have a real familiar intimacy with the subjects, and just sort of shoot whatever they're doing, and not necessarily construct shots so much or set up the camera, but to just sort of always be there, so that when the subject has something to say, you can capture those things sort of off the cuff. And I think that this documentary is a really good example of his style because it's obvious that Iris Apfel and Albert Maysles have a good rapport.
Yeah.
And when you're watching this movie, it's so enjoyable to watch because you're just watching them hang out.
Yeah, it really is. I think my friend who is really into fashion, I went to go watch it with her, and she was like, I've never grinned and like smiled that much just watching a film.
Right, it's just very, very pleasurable because Iris is such a charismatic figure. But I think maybe because we come from different perspectives, since you know things about fashion and I don't, I think what makes this less of a niche documentary within the fashion world is because Iris is not, she's a trendsetter, but she doesn't really come from the business of fashion. So, and she's very, very like laid back about, she doesn't have rules about what to wear or what not to wear. It's not like Anna Wintour where she's like, this is what you should wear this season. She's not like that. She's very much just like, wear whatever you want, feel comfortable, and also if you don't feel comfortable being fashionable, that's fine.
Yeah. Like and she's not gonna judge you, and I like that. She's not like, she's not the one to judge. And
absolutely, and she says in the movie that it's more important to be happy than it is to be well dressed. Which is
like the most insane thing I've ever heard a fashion person say.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing to hear from someone who has like fashion spreads in international magazines and her own line of clothing and a MoMA exhibit. It's like, fashion for her seems just like an offshoot of her personality and something that she likes, rather than like a dictate for how people should behave. So even if you go in watching this like just wearing jeans and t-shirts all the time, you come out feeling good about yourself because it's like, this person is just so comfortable with who she is that it makes you feel like, if dressing up makes you feel uncomfortable, that's fine, and that's your style. Yeah.
I mean, this was just a great documentary all around. I don't feel like, the only thing I would have to say that I didn't like was, I wish it was longer. Like, I wish I just would want to watch her all the time.
Yeah, and this comes across as there could be 3 or 4 different versions of this movie that are entirely different but would convey similar things, because it's like, you get the sense that they just shot forever, and it could have been cut many, many different ways, but still have been consistently enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. So, definitely one of the first films that we completely agree on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're really happy about that. Be sure to check out Kristen's blog.
Yeah, it's salesonfilm.tumblr.com and @salesonfilm on Twitter.
And we'll have so much more Love It or Hate It segments for you in the coming weeks. So, tune in. Bye.
Bye.